CBS 12 News starts now with breaking news.
And as we come on the air tonight, a somber night across the country with the passing of Arizona Senator John McCain, a man who served his country for 60 years, first in the Navy, then in Congress. Here's a tweet from his wife, Cindy, tonight after news of his passing. She says, her heart is broken. She went on to say, I am lucky to have lived the adventure of loving this incredible man for 38 years. He passed the way he lived, on his own terms, surrounded by the people he loved in the place he loved best. Here's a look back tonight on Senator John McCain's life and legacy.
If there's a way John McCain has most often been described, a reason he's been revered by his allies and even foes, it's as a patriot and a fighter. This battle, the one against brain cancer, he's fought just as valiantly.
Hey guys, how are you? Good to see you.
On Friday, though, his family announcing he'll no longer seek treatment, sparking a barrage of well wishes from all sides of the spectrum. McCain was diagnosed in July of last year, yet continued his ways that earned him the nickname Maverick, just a week after appearing on the Senate floor with a decisive point down, dashing his own party's work to repeal Obamacare. Always determined to do what he felt right, even if others stood in the way.
I don't know anybody in the Senate who hasn't been on the receiving end of some of his passion, and sometimes in a not entirely positive way. But after it's all over, he's a very warm and caring individual.
He also showed civility in often uncivil times, like during the 2008 presidential campaign when a voter attacked his opponent, then Senator Obama.
I have read about him, and he's an Arab.
No, ma'am. He's a decent family man, citizen that I just happen to have disagreements with on fundamental issues.
He was also never afraid to cross the aisle, aware he'd be taking heat.
That's the way this town works.
There were plenty of ups and downs, including 2 failed runs for president. Some believe his pick of Sarah Palin as a running mate eventually helped pave the way politically for Donald Trump. Though when it came to passion politics, his was love of country, and it was paramount.
There's no one on the other side of the aisle, perhaps no one in this chamber, who better respects what veterans have gone through than Senator McCain after what he went through himself as a prisoner of war.
His closest confidants say he's left them and all of Washington with a lesson they'll not soon forget.
John McCain was the most optimistic man I've ever known in my life. He was always about tomorrow, not about yesterday, not about the moment, but about the fights to come. And there's a whole generation of Republicans and Democrats who are affected by John McCain. In that sense, he will live forever.
In Washington, I'm Scott Thuman.
Coming up, reaction from President Donald Trump as well as Florida lawmakers. You can also head over to our website, CBS12.com. There you can read more about the senator's life and the countless number of condolences now pouring in. An update now to our breaking news story from 6 o'clock. A 17-year-old in critical condition tonight after his car winds up in a canal in West Palm Beach this afternoon, and then Good Samaritans rushing to his rescue, happening near 45th Street and North Congress Avenue. Witnesses say those 2 Good Samaritans pulled the man out of the water, and a third Good Samaritan, who happened to be a doctor, performed CPR until first responders arrived on scene.
I thank God for those two men and that doctor, because he's the one that performed CPR on him, and if they weren't there, they didn't get here when they did, that man would not be here.
Now, we're still working tonight to find out the cause of that crash. All right, turning now to your weather, a bit on the cloudy side today, with some of you getting some showers. The big question now, how's your Sunday shaping up? CBS 12 meteorologist Michael Ehrenberg here now. And Michael, will tomorrow just be a repeat of today?
Well, Paul, I think maybe a little bit less shower and thunderstorm activity, so that's something to look forward to. Meanwhile, on radar right now, it is all quiet. It's muggy out there. 81 at the airport. Add that in with 72% humidity. Still feels like 85 degrees outside tonight. Delray 77, Jupiter checking into 80, Stewart 79. Hello to you, Treasure Coast. You're in the upper 70s and still 81 right now in the Sebastian vicinity. All right, for the For the rest of tonight, we're just fair to partly cloudy and muggy, with temperatures dropping down to the upper 70s at the coast and some mid-70s across the interior sections. Yeah, a little bit of drier air, I think, works in from the Bahamas tomorrow. That's our next weather maker. It will replace the highest moisture. So when I come back, we'll talk about rain chances, who has the best chance for storms in your hour-by-hour forecast. We're tracking the tropics as well.
Looking forward to that dry air. Michael, thank you. All right, right now, a new normal. Palm Beach Central High School football players and fans wrapping up their first football game tonight. Look at this, since last Friday. The game turning chaotic when two men were shot. Neither were students. Officials say they were targeted as the gunfire sent fans screaming and stampeding into panic inside the stadium last Friday. A spokeswoman for the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office said it was not a random act of violence. And those new security measures now in place. School officials say they'll enhance security at the game and help parents, students, and players feel safe. CBS 12's Nyala Charles live tonight from Palm Beach County with just how people are responding to these changes. Nyala, good evening.
Good evening, Paul. The new security measures put up in place at today's game included more officers, bag restrictions, and even metal detectors. But the people I spoke to say those changes are helping them feel safe. Carly Breyer loves bringing spirit to the Palm Beach Central football games. But today, as she energized the crowd, a little anxiety.
I was a little nervous today from everything that happened Friday and my mom.
Carly's mother was caught in the crowd, trampled by people trying to get out.
You know, we're still trying to process everything.
Today, the new security measures, including an earlier start time.
While security measures may be a little stringent and tight, it's for the safety of the children, and that's always most important.
Although the security measures are well supported, some students like Carly want to return to the classic Friday night lights.
Fridays are good because, you know, we get dressed up at school, we have a lot of spirit at school, and then later that night, it's game time, it's crunch time, like everyone's ready. So Friday night lights, you know, I just want to keep that going.
And now that her mother is out of the hospital, she just wants to move forward.
I just have to keep on going and take it day by day and, you know, push that behind me.
It's important to note that the changes seen at today's game wouldn't have stopped last week's shooting that happened outside of the stadium, but the district says they're working to see what other changes can be made. Meanwhile, the suspects from last week's shooting are still out there. Reporting live from Palm Beach County, Nyala Charles, CBS 12 News.
The new normal. Thank you, Nyala. And this is a perfectly good time to get the CBS 12 News app to get push alerts sent to your phone. All you need to do is go to your app store and then search for WPEC. The app is free. An update tonight in a deputy-involved shooting that caused chaos for hours last night in West Palm Beach. Here's the scene. And tonight, Ronnie Williams Jr. behind bars after officials say he opened fire during an undercover investigation that led to a police chase. A Palm Beach County detective and a deputy from Martin County were undercover, the sheriff's office says, when the suspect rammed into their unmarked van on 45th Street and North Point Boulevard. There it is right there. Williams Jr. then took off, though deputies arrested him less than a mile away. Developing more gunfire erupting in a neighborhood in Delray Beach, leaving one man there dead. Police there telling us Jermaine Smith died after being shot, happening on Northwest 6th Avenue late last night. First responders taking Smith to Delray Medical Center where he was pronounced dead. We're working to find out more details on this case, and we'll have the latest on CBS 12 News this morning and, of course, online at CBS12.com. This shooting happening in the same area where a longtime family feud that dates back nearly a decade has led to 46 shootings, 5 of them deadly. Police telling us a 10-year-old boy was a victim of the feud happening just last month. An update tonight on last night's breaking news as St. Lucie County investigators are asking for your help after finding a woman's body in a ditch along a rural road in that county. Late last night, officials identified the body as 23-year-old Tanea Wise of Port St. Lucie. There she is. A passerby spotted the body late yesterday morning. Investigators say Wise lived with her family and right now searching for a possible suspect and motive. If you have any information, you're urged to call the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office. Now, the algae emergency, a new effort to mechanically remove potentially toxic algae. Many say it comes at just the right time, and here's why. Take a look at the map. A handful of new beach closures now in effect as more and more blue-green algae is filling up the St. Lucie River. Right now, Jensen Beach, Stewart Beach, and Bathtub Reef Beach all closed due to swimming, and tonight there is no word on when they will reopen. And today, a fundraiser for a woman on a long road to recovery. Farrah Fox suffering a severe brain injury in a crash involving an off-duty Palm Beach County Sheriff's deputy last month. The community raising funds for Fox today to help with medical costs. The passing of an American hero. We continue to track the somber news tonight of the passing of longtime Arizona Senator John McCain. There he is with his wife Cindy and President Obama, former president. More on how family, friends, and lawmakers are remembering him. Up in flames, look at this. In the water? Yes, fire destroys this iconic house. Tonight, what we're learning about the cause. Michael, the cause of this weather.
Yeah, well, it looks like we got some drier air coming into the area tomorrow, Paul. How that will impact our rain chances, who has the best chance for storms coming up in your hour-by-hour forecast.
You're watching CBS 12 News at 11.
And we continue to track that breaking news tonight out of Arizona. Senator John McCain has passed away at the age of 81. The motorcade and hearse leaving his Arizona ranch home earlier today. The senator, known for his straight talk style, died after a long battle with a rare and very aggressive form of brain cancer, being diagnosed with glioblastoma in July of 2017. And it was just yesterday McCain's family announced that he would stop treatment. Flags lowered at half-staff at the state capitol in Phoenix today for Senator McCain as well. Now, I love you forever. Just some of the words from McCain's daughter, Megan, tonight. In a tweet, she went on to say, "I was with my father at his end as he was with me at my beginning. In the 33 years we shared together, he raised me, taught me, corrected me, comforted me, encouraged me, and supported me in all things. He loved me, and I loved him." President Trump also offering his condolences, saying, "My deepest sympathies and respect go out to the family," going on to say, "Our hearts and prayers are with you." And Florida's junior Senator Marco Rubio and friend of McCain tweeted this: "We have lost a true American hero. As a colleague in the Senate and a friend, I drew personal inspiration from his leadership, intellect, and moral courage." Meantime, Senator Bill Nelson saying McCain was his friend and one of his heroes. He devoted his life, he says, to duty, honor, and country. He shall always be a role model for me. And late tonight, we're learning the senator had been planning his own funeral services with close friends during the last year. Two people close to McCain said he wanted 3 places for services: Arizona, the National Cathedral in Washington, and Annapolis. Tonight, CNN reporting that President Trump would not be invited. All right, our Florida focus right now in Pasco County, an iconic stilt home in the Gulf of Mexico goes up in flames. Happening last night, Marine units brought a portable fire pump to help battle the flames. No one injured or inside the house at the time. Right now, the cause is under investigation. Also right now, tracking Tropical Storm Lane as it continues to batter Hawaii with heavy rains. Hawaii's Big Island bearing the brunt of the storm's wrath after more than 3 days of rain. They've recorded at almost 4 feet of water in some places. As many as 17,000 people who live there across the Hawaiian Islands lost power during the storm. But Lane isn't clearing out for another few days. That's right. So all the islands are expecting more rain and high surf, and that brings the potential for mudslides and more flooding, especially on the Big Island where the ground is already saturated. Michael, we've been talking about this for days. We talked about it at 6 days before that. Very slow-moving storm, Category 5 at one time?
It was a 5 with 155-mile-an-hour winds, Paul. Fortunately, though, as it got closer, the wind shear really dropped the strength, so they didn't get the really strong hurricane force winds.
And that satellite image I remember seeing, it was huge.
It was huge. It was well-defined, and now it's just kind of a blob of rain. The thing is, even though they didn't get the hurricane force winds that strong, they got the 3 feet of rain.
The flooding, yeah.
The flooding, the mudslides, and not only that, Paul, but also the volcanoes, the ash, just making a big mess there. Yeah, not good for folks in Hawaii. And there it is, looking completely different than it was 3 days ago when it was a clearly defined Category 5. But you notice still a lot of convection firing up in some of the islands here, so they're not done yet with the rain. But at least the winds, it's going to be dropping into tropical depression status shortly. Right now, the winds are 45. It moves away from the island steadily within the next couple of days. Meanwhile, back to home, we've got some slightly lower rain chances in our weather headlines for tomorrow. That's nice for the second half of your weekend. Thing is, though, the rain chances will be increasing through the week. We'll have high heat and humidity. And right now, no tropical threats to deal with. We'll talk about that in a minute. All right, here's that drier air, the brown shading you see in the water vapor loop, and it's as far west as Grand Bahama Island. So that moves in. The higher moisture kind of leaves the area for a day or so. So let's track the rain hour by hour. In the morning, there could be a few showers or a downpour for parts of coastal Palm Beach County, but that easterly breeze will quickly push everything west of 441 on the Turnpike as early as lunch hour. We go ahead to 3. Look at this, mostly sunny. Vero down to Jupiter to West Palm, the Boca. Storms out near Lake Okeechobee and beyond, and for the most part, that's where they'll stay. Now, during the evening hours, that easterly flow could pop up a few more coastal showers, but all in all, tomorrow, rain chances at the coast, only 30%. There'll be 40% from Wellington up to Stewart to Fort Pierce and out to Indiantown, and then storm chances later in the day will be 50% for those of you from Indiantown out west to Okeechobee and down towards the Glades area of western Palm Beach County. Hot temperatures tomorrow, 90, 91 coast, low 90s, Wellington, Belle Glade. We're looking at 93 for Royal Palm, about 91 West Palm. Normal highs 90, so normal stuff for late August. And 91 to 93 Stewart to Vero out there to Okeechobee City. Combine that with the humidity, though, yeah, feels like temperatures once again over 100 for a good part of the CBS 12 viewing area. All right, so day by day, again, a bit of drier air works in, and then we have normal, modest amounts of moisture for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then the computer models are forecasting perhaps a tropical wave comes in for Friday, Saturday, deep tropical moisture. And what that will do is really kick up our rain chances. Their lowest tomorrow, 30% coast, a little higher inland, 40% Monday, Tuesday, and then up to 60% as we head on into the end of the week. Tracking the tropics, so far we're watching just some showers and storms in the main development region, but right now, no development expected for at least the next 5 days. All right, so for the rest of tonight, we're warm, muggy, partly cloudy, maybe passing shower at the coast, getting a little more numerous during the early part of the morning, especially, again, near the coast. A few afternoon storms with a high of 90. 70 forecast, here you go, with the weekend's always in view. Theme here this week, it stays mainly dry tomorrow and Monday. Slowly escalating rain chances up to 50% Wednesday, Thursday. And then we watch that tropical wave. Don't think it'll develop, but it will make it wetter and stormy around here next Friday and Saturday. And there's your weather.
We do live in Florida. Michael, thank you so much. All right, turning to consumer news tonight, a call from the Capitol sending Verizon executives scrambling. And that is why lawmakers are now demanding answers on why Verizon throttled data for crews in California as they battled a firestorm. Fire chiefs were at a hearing yesterday saying the limited data flow made it difficult for crews to communicate. Officials from Verizon say they removed all restrictions for first responders across the West Coast, including Hawaii, because of Tropical Storm Lane. All right, the Dolphins had high expectations as they hosted the Ravens today. But it was a former local high school star and Heisman Trophy winner who came through tonight at Hard Rock Stadium. We'll have highlights and reaction. John Edmondson next. Plus, both Dwyer and Palm Beach Central have been healing this week from that football game shooting. Tonight, they both played again. Highlights next.
iHeartMedia radio stations, proud partners of the CBS 12 News Network, the one to turn to.
This week on Full Measure. Think asbestos has been banned? We found out it's still being used in many homes. Plus, terrorists buying supplies online. A new challenge for law enforcement when it comes to monitoring internet retailers and balancing consumer privacy. And there are growing movements to regulate vacation rental companies like Airbnb, which are incredibly popular with consumers but under attack by the hotel industry. Those stories and more this week on Full Measure.
CBS 12 News outerwear is provided by Under Armour.
We continue to cover the breaking news, the passing of Senator John McCain. World leaders taking to Twitter tonight to share their condolences and remember his legacy. Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau saying the senator's sacrifices and public service inspired millions of people. Obviously, much more in the days and weeks to come. Michael Ehrenberg back now with the last look at your Sunday forecast and beyond.
Yes, Sunday, maybe a couple showers in the morning there, Paul, but lower rain chances overall 30%, upper 70s to low 80s as we go from the inland areas to the coast. Storm chances up to 40% Monday, Tuesday, and we could be looking at some pretty wet, stormy weather Friday, Saturday, as we look for the potential for a tropical wave to move in from the east, although we don't expect it to develop right now, but we'll keep you posted.
Wow. All right. It is Florida. 50% chance, 50-50.
40, 50, 60, you know, it rains. But it doesn't rain all the time. You know, have the umbrella and just duck into a
You never know. And what a game for the Dolphins today.
It was cool seeing Lamar Jackson do his thing, but there are definitely some things they need to fix. If we're not going to press the panic button, it's so close, but we're not going to do it yet.
Not yet. All right. Thank you for joining us this Saturday night. More on the life and legacy of Senator John McCain tomorrow morning. Good night.